Jack and the Beanstalk, an animated adventure. In a peaceful, sunlit valley surrounded by emerald green hills, lay a quaint little village. Farmers tended to their fields, children played in the dirt paths, and the village bustled with simple, happy lives. But for a boy named Jack, this simple life wasn't enough. Jack, a kind-hearted and wide-eyed teenager, lived with his mother in a small cottage at the edge of the village. Their life was modest, relying on their beloved cow, Daisy, for milk which they sold in the village market. But Jack often sat by the fence, his head in the clouds, dreaming of daring adventures in places unknown. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, his mother sat him down. "Jack, we have no choice," she said softly. "Daisy is all we've got left, but we must sell her to buy food." Though it broke Jack's heart, he understood this was a duty he couldn't ignore. The next morning, Jack led Daisy through the dirt road toward the market. He passed sprawling fields and waved at familiar faces, clutching Daisy's reins tightly. Along the way, he encountered a strange old man with eyes that sparkled like he knew secrets nobody else did. "What have you got there, boy?" the man asked with a sly grin. "My cow," Jack replied. "I'm taking her to the market." The man stroked his beard thoughtfully before reaching into his pocket, pulling out 5 shimmering beans that sparkled with a faint, otherworldly glow. "These are no ordinary beans," he whispered. "They are magic. Trade me your cow for these, and your life will change forever." Jack hesitated. Daisy was his family's lifeline, but the beans radiated a mysterious promise of adventure, something he had always yearned for. "Deal," he said, handing over Daisy for the beans. When Jack returned home with the beans in place of coins, his mother's face sank with despair. "What have you done, Jack? You've traded our only hope for some worthless seeds." In frustration, she tossed the beans out of the window, and Jack slumped onto his bed, ashamed and heartbroken. That night, as stars filled the sky, an incredible event occurred. The beans began to glow and sprout, twirling and twisting, soaring upward endlessly into the heavens. By morning, an enormous beanstalk now stood where Jack's mother had thrown the beans. Jack stared in awe, the giant green vines disappearing into the clouds. "This is it," he murmured to himself, a mix of wonder and determination flashing in his eyes. Adventure had come knocking. Without a moment's hesitation, he grabbed his satchel and began to climb. Higher and higher he went, the world below growing smaller and smaller. Clouds surrounded him, the air cool and crisp, until finally, with one final pull, Jack reached the top. What he saw left him speechless. Above the clouds sprawled an enormous, floating kingdom bathed in golden light. Castles made of shimmering stone stood tall amongst lush gardens and silver rivers. But as beautiful as it was, the place seemed wrong. A heavy silence lingered, and in the distance, Jack could hear the faint sound of groans and growls. As he ventured forward, Jack spotted them, giant humans, towering and fearsome, who roamed the kingdom with greedy scowls. They stomped through the landscape, hauling precious magic stolen from earth below. But worse still were the shadowy figures that flitted through the air, sharp-clawed demons that fiercely guarded the stolen treasures. This must be why life has been so hard down below, Jack realized, anger swirling in his chest. They've been taking all of Earth's magic to feed their greed. As Jack wandered cautiously through the kingdom, trying to avoid detection, he heard a soft cluck. Following the sound, he stumbled upon a worn cage containing a golden goose. Its feathers glinted like sunlight, its eyes sharp and intelligent. "You're not like the others," Jack whispered, leaning closer. "No, I'm not," squawked the goose in a surprisingly cheeky voice. "Help me out of here, and I'll help you." Jack chuckled at the feisty bird, but quickly pulled the cage door loose. With an indignant flap of its wings, the golden goose joined Jack, lightly jabbing his arm with its beak. "Name's Goldie, by the way. You're lucky to have me." The two set off in search of answers. Along the way, they discovered a rusty harp propped against a tree. To Jack's surprise, the harp began to sing in a soothing melody, offering cryptic wisdom. Courage lights the darkest path, and light defeats the shadows cast. Jack, Goldie, and their new harp companion navigated the treacherous kingdom, outsmarting patrolling giants and narrowly avoiding shadow demons. One particularly close call brought out something unexpected in Jack, a burst of blinding light from his hands that sent a demon screeching into the air. "How did you do that?" Goldie asked, clearly impressed. I don't know," Jack stuttered, staring at his glowing hands. He realized the harp's words might hold the key. His courage gave him strength, and that strength let him summon the power of light. As the trio ventured deeper into the kingdom, they uncovered horrifying truths. The giants had drained Earth's magic for centuries, disrupting the balance of the world below. "If it continues, both worlds will crumble," Jack vowed. "We have to stop this." Jack and his friends devised a daring plan to confront the kingdom's ruler, the most powerful of all the giants. Along their path, they faced challenges, riddles, traps, and the relentless pursuit of shadow demons. But Jack's bravery, Goldie's wit, and the harp's wisdom carried them forward. Eventually, they found themselves in the opulent throne room, face to face with the towering great giant. The menacing figure, adorned with stolen magic, laughed at the sight of the tiny boy. "You think you can defeat me?" the giant roared. "A speck of dust against a mountain." But Jack stood tall. "True strength isn't about size," he declared. "It's about heart and courage." The fight was intense. The great giant hurled crackling bolts of stolen magic, while demons swooped down to attack. But Jack fought fiercely, his light magic growing stronger with every ounce of courage. He dodged, leapt, and drove back his enemies with beams of golden light. Goldie, meanwhile, caused chaos, pecking at the giant's armor and outrunning the demons. Finally, the harp sang with all its might, disrupting the magic in the giant's castle. With one final burst of light, Jack struck the giant, breaking his hold on the magic once and for all. The magic swirled and soared into the sky, returning to Earth and restoring its balance. As the kingdom began to crumble, Jack and his companions quickly descended the Beanstalk, the golden goose clutching the harp in its talons. Back on solid ground, Jack watched in awe as the earth seemed to come alive. Flowers bloomed, rivers sparkled, and the air felt lighter. The village cheered as Jack walked into town, humbled and glowing with pride. Goldie perched on his shoulder, muttering about deserving more credit, while the harp hummed a soft tune of triumph. "Jack, you've saved us all," his mother whispered, tears in her eyes. Jack smiled. "I didn't do it alone. But I've learned something important." He paused, looking at the beanstalk as it withered in the distance. Courage isn't about being the strongest or the smartest. It's standing up for what's right, even when the odds are against you. And with that, Jack began his new adventure, not of daydreaming, but of leading his village to a brighter, more magical future.